Trevor Lawrence gets paid. Let's celebrate. My goodness, we were begging for it. We were begging for it. We were begging for it. We got it. Trevor Lawrence gets paid. Let's celebrate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube.
So Trevor Lawrence gets paid. We asked the question yesterday. We actually discussed it. My prepared co-host, very prepared. She talked about it with me. This was yesterday's conversation. We were talking about the weirdest things going on with the Houston Texans. And one of them was the fact that you're begging for a quarterback that's supposed to be like the next generation's big thing to get paid. This is just a little trip back, not too far back, less than 24 hours ago, talking about Trevor Lawrence. Texans fans, and this is all seems like to be a 4-year window of weirdness. Texans fans are rooting for the Jags to pay Trevor Lawrence. They're rooting for it. We thought 3 years ago, oh, crap, the Jags got the number 1 pick. The Jets screwed it up. Now the Jags are going to have the generational guy. Now Texans fans are rooting for Trevor Lawrence to get paid. And that's the reality of the situation. I have yet to see a Texans fan that is asking for this to not happen. And that's the reality of the situation. And the reality is what was true a few years ago might not be true now. And it might not be true a year from now. But when Trevor Lawrence was drafted, Texans fans were crapping their pants because the Texans were the most dysfunctional organization in the NFL, and the Jags got a quarterback that was supposed to be John Elway, Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning, all that. Didn't happen. It's hard, regardless of how good a quarterback is or isn't. It's very hard to win when you're paying a quarterback top dollar. That's why Tom Brady took less money. That's why Patrick Mahomes, a lot of times, like nickels and dimes and stuff, it's hard. It's even more difficult when the quarterback is not even considered elite, which is what Trevor Lawrence is. Trevor Lawrence is mid. He's mid. This live was supposed to be about Trevor Lawrence versus CJ Stroud. Can CJ Stroud be dethroned as the top quarterback in the AFC South, or is it more likely that Trevor Lawrence gets dethroned as the number 2? This was Trevor Lawrence talking about his contract negotiations before it actually happened. Let's listen to the thief, Jesse James, aka Enron, the Enron QB, Trevor Lawrence, robbing. Man, he is robbing Tony Khan. Man, Tony Khan, I know he's getting robbed by TNA Wrestling with his son running it. Man, that is the second biggest thief now because Trevor Lawrence is number 1.
Involved? Are you in contract negotiations, talks? Are you even kept abreast of where that's at?
Yeah, obviously I'm aware of what's going on, but I try to keep my focus on doing my job out here. I have full belief that'll take care of itself, and that's not something that I need to worry about. That's why I pay people and hire people to do that for me. So that's not my job. But obviously I know what's going on. I'm aware of the situation. I think that's important too. But yeah, I try to keep all my focus and energy on being the best player I can be to help us win.
Is it important to you to get done before camp or before the season or at all? Do you have any timetable at all?
I mean, yeah, I think that would be ideal, just to put it behind us and keep moving and feel good about that going into training camp. But either way, like I've said before, I have the same job. So, I can't always control all those factors, but I have the same job to do either way. But yeah, I mean, I would, of course, that'd be ideal is to get it done, as soon as you can and kind of move forward.
By the way, I said AEW. I said TNA, AEW. Who knows? Same thing. Same robbery.
Have you any thoughts, probably a little early, about whether you wear a Guardian cap in a game? Would you consider doing that or no?
No, I don't think so. I've never worn one, so I don't know how they feel. It doesn't look like they would be comfortable. I know they have good, research behind and stuff, but I would probably say that. I've never tried one on, so I can't really speak too much on it. But
how valuable has been working with Mitch so far at center, having a seasoned guy there?
He's been great. Mitch has been a really good addition in the O-line room. Just kind of the way he came in and gets along with everybody great. He's a good leader. Obviously, super experienced. Has played a lot of football and been on some really good teams. So I think bringing that experience here is going to be really good for us. He's a really smart guy. Obviously, it's still early. We're still getting to know each other, working together. But I really like the way he just handles his business and carries himself. It's been fun to be around, and I'm just excited to really for the way him and Luke have worked together too. Has been cool to see, and he helps Luke and vice versa, and it's really good rapport. He fits in the room great.
Coach Peterson was talking about a jump year. Does year 3 feel any different than year 2 in terms of having the continuity? And
yeah, I think another year in the system, just owning it more and more every year, and I feel like this year especially I've been able to express more of things that I like, want to do more of, maybe things I don't like or whatever it is, and been able to communicate a lot with the coaches, which has been great. So I think just owning the offense more and more every year is the key, and it's going to help me get better and have a really good grasp of what we're doing, what we're trying to do, the things that we need to improve on. I feel like I'm really in sync with the staff and kind of what the goals are and what we wanted to accomplish this offseason. And then going into training camp, obviously it's going to be, another list of things. But no, I feel really good. And that's the goal, is to get better every year. So I feel like, yes, I'll get better this year, and I'm excited for it.
What's been your impression of Gabe Davis so far, working with him on the field the last week?
He's been great, just hard worker. Obviously, he's still working himself back in, but just hard worker. He's smart. He's a good leader. I mean, the way he communicates with the room, he'll talk about stuff that, maybe they did in Buffalo that might be a little bit different, whether it's concepts or route technique and some things that they did, or, just kind of talking about everything. And you can tell he's really smart, sees the field, understands coverages. Just going to be a great addition for us, and he's willing to do like all the dirty work too, which is cool to see from a receiver. He's willing to block, kind of do whatever he needs to do, and obviously he's a playmaker down the field, and that'll be a good addition for us. Awesome, thank you all.
All right, there you go. Good job, Trevor. What's up, Thief? Question: how much did Trevor get? He got $275 5-year contract extension, $200 million guaranteed, 142 signing bonus. So the guy got paid. the guy got paid, and it's kind of telling, and it kind of speaks to where things can be and where things can go in like a 3-year window. If you look at the 3-year window of Trevor Lawrence and where he is right now compared to where you thought he would be, there are Jags fans trying to talk themselves into this. There are Jags homers trying to talk themselves into this. I won't use specific names, but I just kind of texted one of my Jags folks, and I'll read this text with you on the air because I didn't really read it because I was trying to prepare for this show or stream, whatever. I was preparing a little bit. I asked him, I said, do you like this Trevor Lawrence extension? Here was his response, quote, "They did a poor job of building around him." Really? They paid Ingram. They paid Jones. They traded for Ridley, and they paid Christian Kirk, and they invested in the O-line. And they drafted Travis Etienne in the first round. So they did a poor job of building around him. Okay. That's the first piece of revisionist history. This is the type of homer stuff that you get from the Jags. Ridley was a drop machine, and center was atrocious. The center was atrocious. Okay, the center was bad. Okay. CJ had like 4 different centers last year, and they were fine. And Ridley was a drop machine. Would you be saying that if they had signed him? Perhaps not. This is the kind of homer stuff you get from Jackson. This is like a keep it real type of folk. He's more of what we showed. He's more of what he showed against Houston in Houston last year than his bad games. Okay. Mistakes came from trying to do too much. So that's it. That's the kind of stuff that you're going to get from Jacksonville. Even like their most keeping it real type of folks is they haven't done a good job of surrounding him with talent. You look at Trevor Lawrence's second year. Trevor Lawrence's second year was solid. It wasn't bad. The first year, you can chalk it all to Urban Meyer, and I think that's fair. I don't question that. The second year, they did everything they could to build a good squad around him. And quite frankly, I know that playoff game, it might have got a little bit too romanticized. That playoff game, he was ass in the first half. He was absolute ass in the first half. Terrible. And y'all saw how that looked. I feel like we kind of overreacted to that playoff game. This last year, this is something I want to say about Trevor Lawrence, and I want to make this very, 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 very clear. His toughness, elite. I don't know that I've seen a tougher quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. That is a tough SOB. That's what Trevor Lawrence is. He is extremely tough. I don't know how many quarterbacks. I kind of had some fun with it where he's getting carted off and coming back in and he's back in the game. I don't know how many quarterbacks are tougher than Trevor Lawrence. But with that said, elite quarterbacks win the AFC South. You should have won the division. I said this about the Texans, and I've said this to my audience. I've said this on the flagship. I've said this. The Texans benefited from the Jags' shortcomings. Now, if you want to chalk it to Payne and Trevor Lawrence and struggling, then we can do that. But the Texans benefited from Trevor Lawrence's shortcomings. If the Jags beat the Titans, the Texans have to face the Bills in the playoffs. Most likely on a Tuesday, and the Texans lose that game. They don't win that game. No chance. Sorry. They don't win that game. 100% don't win that game. No shot. The Jags pissed that away, in large part because Trevor Lawrence was turning the ball over and not playing good football. It's the reality of the situation. He played hurt. Frank says he played hurt. He did play hurt. Was he hurt when he had that first half against the Chargers? That's the other thing. That playoff game against the Chargers that we talk about, we hang our hat on. We go back to 2022. He was the worst quarterback I've ever watched play a playoff game in that first half. The worst. He was trash. Now, a lot of times we overreact. We might be overreacting to the Texans. The Texans beat the Browns, and the Texans go to the playoffs, and the Texans were inches from not being there. Maybe we overreact. Might have overreacted to what Trevor Lawrence did in the playoffs. Although we saw, even at his best, that was undoubtedly the most pathetic, embarrassing performance that I've ever seen in the first half of a playoff game from Trevor Lawrence. And when you watch that game, what'd you say when the Jags won that playoff game against the Chargers? What was the biggest talking point? Was it, oh man, Trevor Lawrence, he's rallied. Man, this guy's really figured it out. He's a great quarterback. Was that what you said? Or did you say, man, this Brandon Staley guy's an idiot? How the hell is he coaching an NFL team? The hell is he doing there? I think that was what you said, right? And what ended up happening? He ended up getting fired during the season, right? So kind of a flukish type of thing from Trevor Lawrence. It's difficult. Whether a quarterback's good or whether a quarterback's bad, it is difficult to win when you're paying a quarterback elite money. It's hard. Doesn't matter if it's Patrick Mahomes. Doesn't matter if it's Tom Brady. It doesn't matter. It's hard. And I know Tom Brady took less money. It's difficult. It's very, 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 very difficult. Very difficult. And get the comments in. Be sure to subscribe, like, ride along. I know you are riding along with the stream. Shout out to you. Drinking my Miller. But it's difficult. Very difficult. Hold up. Do you think the Jags are going to be able to be a good squad with Trevor Lawrence, like paying him? Look at what Buffalo had to do this offseason. That ain't easy, man. Do I think Josh Allen's good enough to overcome it? Probably. But what's the ceiling for that? What's the ceiling? It's limited, man. It gets hard. You got to make hard decisions. Even good quarterbacks, you got to make hard decisions. You think the Jags are ready? Here's Coachy Main, and you can't blame them when they take that huge contract. No kidding. Like, I don't blame Trevor Lawrence for getting that deal. Get the deal, brother. Can't blame that at all. And I think there's a large jock-sniffing majority that is trying to act like they have to defend that. No one's criticizing you for taking that contract. What's Trevor Lawrence supposed to say? No, thank you. I mean, it's not like Trevor Lawrence could take like 20 less million and lead them to a Super Bowl. He's not good enough. Trevor Lawrence will never win a Super Bowl. Mark this. Mark this, clip this. Jags fans, just do this right here. Clip it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna type this as we're here. Clip this. I'm gonna put it right here for Jags fans. Trevor Lawrence will never win a Super Bowl as a quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me do it one more time. Trevor Lawrence will never win a Super Bowl as quarterback of a Jaguars. It's not going to happen. Y'all know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. You can clip it. Now, I was a Bryce Young or CJ Stroud type of dude. I was more Bryce Young. Sometimes, you know, you end up looking foolish. Trevor Lawrence will never win a Super Bowl as quarterback of the Jags. It's not going to happen. Brandon says, too early to judge CJ's contract because he is a Super Bowl winner by the time it rolls out. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about all that. I mean, that's getting a little crazy. That's getting a little nuts. Do I think that CJ Stroud could do I think that CJ Stroud could end up like falling off this year and the Texans could fall off? Perhaps. But let me say it again. Trevor Lawrence will never win a Super Bowl as Jags quarterback. It's much more difficult now to put a squad around him. He will never do that. Now, a lot of you might come through and say this. Blue Boy 9. Shout out to Blue Boy 9. And the locker room right here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. LMAO, Landry. You know this. Don't get back to Duvall. Get back to Duvall, man. Shout out to Tony Wiggins. Shout out to Prisco. All you fools. Y'all know. Like, let's be serious about this Trevor Lawrence situation. And let's just be honest. And this was the title before I even knew he was going to get paid. But let's just be serious about it, okay? Let's just be serious about it. Let's just be honest and let's be for real. If Jags fans can't be honest with themselves and take a trip back, let's take a trip back, okay? Let's do this as a Jags fan. If you go back 3 years ago and talk about Trevor Lawrence the way that you're talking about him, and if I would have told you that you would have felt the way about Trevor Lawrence that you feel right now, that's how you would have felt when we go back to those 3 years, you would have been pissed. You would have been disappointed. I remember talking to Jets fans. Shout out to Jake Asman. Jake Asman, one of my mentors on YouTube. Jake Asman Show. If you ever want to know about the Jets, Jake Asman's your dude. Jake Asman was furious that the Jets dropped the ball and missed out on Trevor Lawrence. He was pissed. It was like a monumental thing. Oh, my God, we messed up with Trevor Lawrence. I don't even think they're that upset anymore. I think they're more intrigued about what 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers would do with an Achilles. That's how trash Trevor Lawrence has been. And when I say trash, obviously it's subjective. But you watched Trevor Lawrence get drafted. I watched it. I was terrified, man. I watched that long-haired sunshine dude his freshman year, and I said, damn, dude, that dude would be the number one pick in the draft after his freshman year at Clemson. That dude's a badass, right? Kept playing. Still number one overall pick. Urban Meyer putting his chub on co-eds and all that type of stuff. Creepy ass dude. So you kind of wash that away. Doug Peterson comes in. He's doing his thing. They win the division, and he wins a playoff game. And then last year, you see that? Like with what Trevor Lawrence is, how many quarterbacks would you rather have than Trevor Lawrence? It's at least 10. It's at least 10. Let's just do this exercise together. And I'm not even talking about winning tomorrow. Let's just do this exercise together, and let's talk about Trevor Lawrence, and let's talk about how many quarterbacks you would rather have than him. Okay, I'll go through this right here with y'all. Moving forward, okay. So we'll go through teams. All right, Buffalo. I mean, obviously, I would rather have Josh Allen. Do you agree? Would you rather have Josh Allen? I would say yes. That's one. So that's one. Tua, probably not. Honestly, I'm not a hater. All this crap I'm talking, I'm not a hater. Tua, probably not. So that's one. New England, damn, Jaden Daniels on a rookie deal. Ooh wee. We taking Jaden Daniels or not? Damn, that's tough. We taking Jaden or not? Let's revisit that. Jaden Daniels. Ooh. Is he that nice? And I know Jaden's in Washington. Drake May's in New England, so I'm mixing that up. Drake May, I guess not. Yeah, Drake May, I guess not. Although I might regret that. So I'm mixing up. So Washington will revisit. Dak, no. Daniel Jones, no. Jalen Hurts, yes. So that's 2. Jaden Daniels will revisit. So that's 2 right there, and we'll revisit 1. Lamar Jackson, yes. Joe Burrow, yes. That's 4. Deshaun, no. Fields or Wilson, no. Caleb Williams, yes. That's 5. Goff, probably not. Love, yes, that's 6. JJ McCarthy, hell no. We're still at 6. CJ, yes, 7. Anthony Richardson, probably not. Will Levis, probably not. Falcons, no. I'm sorry. I'm not taking Michael Penix. Bryce Young, I would roll the dice with Bryce Young instead of Trevor Lawrence. That's 8. New Orleans, no. Baker Mayfield, no. So we're at 8. We're at 8. Denver, Bo Nix, hell no. Kyler Murray, yes, that's 9. Stafford, nah, he's too old. Mahomes, yes, that's 10. Herbert, yes, that's 11. And Brock Purdy, yes, 12. Yeah, so 12, and then we can revisit the Jaden Daniels situation. 100%, yes. I mean, that's 12, man. And you're paying him like he's the best quarterback in the league. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people are coming in this stream. It's like, oh man, this guy roots for the Texans and blah blah. Okay. Y'all know me. Y'all know why I'm here. The Texans know what I do. If they deserve to be criticized, I'm going to criticize them. Okay? And I'm always going to prepare. I'm always going to have educated opinions, and that's the reality of the damn situation. How much do you think Purdy will get paid? I don't know. But I think he's better than Trevor Lawrence. If you start paying Brock Purdy, like we can revisit this. If Brock Purdy starts getting paid like one of the best in the league, then we can revisit this because that's going to be nuts. And I don't think Duval's a bunch of clowns. I like him, but I do think it's goofy that they're trying to be Trevor Lawrence. But going back to what I was saying, it's one thing for my dumb ass to sit here and say what I'm saying about Trevor Lawrence, which, by the way, I had lined up before this breaking news even happened. But let's hear from someone who actually watches tape. How about this? Let's hear let's hear from someone who actually watches tape. I was on the Texans' damn flagship. I was calling out Jack Easterby. I was calling him a slime ball. I was calling Bill O'Brien, King Bill. I will never sacrifice my damn dignity. Promise you that. Journalistic integrity, all that type of stuff. I will never sacrifice that. 100%. Some might. I will never do that. 100%. Row, hit the like button. That's 100%. Y'all know that. And I got my journalistic background, all of that. I'm rambling. It is what it is. But it's one thing for my dumb ass to sit up here and tell you about Trevor Lawrence. Let's see what Greg Cosell, one of the best film guys in the game, right? This was before the contract. Would y'all agree? Who's the best? Like, tell me in the comments. Who's the man that you go to when it comes to comments? Who y'all going to? Kirk Cousins is better than Trevor Lawrence. I would agree. Like right now, pre-torn Achilles, not even close. You put Trevor Lawrence, or you put a healthy Kirk Cousins on the Jags, I don't think the Texans win the division last year. I don't think it happens. I think that the Jags with a healthy Kirk Cousins, assuming that he never hurts his Achilles, I think the Jags are back-to-back division champs. I agree with you. 100,000%. I agree with you. 100,000%. You got right. I got a PhD in Texanology. I am that dude. I am the guy that you come to get Texans information in the Texans Pulse. Me or Cody Stutes. Not too many close seconds. Jonathan says he wouldn't, and I'm going to get back to where I was. I'm a good multitasker. I wouldn't say Caleb Williams is better than Lawrence. Okay, this was my thing. Would you rather take Trevor Lawrence now or see what Caleb Williams has got going? There's no way you would take what Lawrence is now and pass on seeing what Caleb Williams is. No chance, brother. No chance, brother. And I actually think Caleb Williams with the Jags might have something. Is Davis Mills better than Lawrence? No. You're being serious. You're being silly. How much longer am I going to be on tonight? I don't know. What the hell are you asking for, brother? Or sister, I don't know. Jordan can be it's a multi-sex name, right? Jordan? I'm gonna say sister. I don't know, sister. What the hell are you talking about? Cousins is trash. He went to the playoffs 2 years ago, homeboy. You think is Trevor Lawrence great? What you talking about, brother? Wait, is Texans multisexual too? I don't know. Don't know what you're talking about too. Someone says, "Are you and Big Sarge cool?" In person, yes. Like in person, he's a sweetheart. Like he's a really nice guy. He's like he told me that he listens to me all the time. I know he texts the producer when we're talking and all that. On like social media, he acts really weird. I don't know what his deal is. Like he like tries to call people out and like randomly. I don't even think he really like has a grasp of like what the situation is. But yeah, I'm fine with him. Like when we see each other, it's fine. I think he gets kind of emotional and like gets kind of I don't know, like sub Tweety. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'm fine with him. He's a sweetheart. You're my go-to for insight on the Texans. I appreciate you, my friend. It's only going to increase. Back to what I was originally saying, and be sure to subscribe, like, right along. It is the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans digital content. This was Greg Cosell. So it's one thing to listen to me. This was Greg Cosell talking about Trevor Lawrence. This is film study, etc. This was on the Ross Tucker podcast. This was Greg Cosell talking about Trevor Lawrence and what he watched. This is his eyes, what he watched. This ain't like some Texans podcast or anything like that, blah, blah, blah. This is Greg Cosell talking about what he watched with his credible ass eyes.
A couple of weeks ago, I did kind of a deep dive into Trevor Lawrence, and he struggled a bit last year, and I think we have to sort of decrease the expectations for what Lawrence is. Lawrence won the national championship as a freshman, and then he got the moniker a generational quarterback. And again, everything I say, as you know, is based on studying film. He's not really at that level talent-wise.
Oh, wow.
He has a good arm, but he's not a power arm guy.
Wait, hold up.
His deep balls at times lose energy on the back.
What'd you just say? Let's say that again, man.
Move in the pocket and times lose energy on the back. Power arm guy, not really at that level talent wise.
Wait, say it again.
He's not really at that level talent wise.
Wait, one more time. Do it like Mike Jones. One more time.
Based on studying film, he's not really at that level talent wise.
Oh wow! So this isn't like some loudmouth weirdo like podcast. Say that one more time and top in the radio game. Say it one more time, my friend.
And again, everything I say, as you know, is based on studying film.
100%.
He's not really at that level talent-wise. He has a good arm, but he's not a power arm guy. His deep balls at times lose energy on the back end. When he has to move in the pocket and reset his platform, his arm strength kind of declines. There are times he can drive the ball with velocity, but for the most part, he's really kind of more of a touch and pace thrower. And I think he showed a tendency last year, and again, he has to work through this to play a little fast from the pocket when he perceived and felt pressure. He just sped up his process, and he's got to
do that one more time, Greg.
His deep balls at times lose energy on the back end.
Okay.
When he has to move in the pocket and reset his platform, his arm strength kind of declines.
Okay.
There are times he can drive the ball with velocity, but for the most part, he's really kind of more of a touch and pace thrower. And I think he showed a tendency last year.
Doesn't that sound kind of like a system guy? Like if you just heard that, like that, doesn't that sound like he's basically talking about a system guy? Isn't that what you just heard from Greg Cosell? Greg Cosell has no skin in the game, man. Like Greg Cosell watches tape, like that to me sounds like he's talking about a system guy, right? I mean, and you have eyes. Like it's not like if Trevor Lawrence were badass, would anyone like have any problem? Like, and this is, do you watch sports with integrity or do you watch sports with like some sort of bias? Like even with your squad, like when I was watching, and I remember like I'm a diehard Longhorn fan, right? So that's what I grew up on. I was born in Round Rock. My parents met at the University of Texas, and that's the only thing that my parents get along with. And when my dad would pick me up when they had like joint custody, he would take me on road trips to UT, and I'll watch Texas games, and that's all I cared about. Didn't get in, didn't do anything but that's all I cared about, right? So when I watch Texas games, I'm like, I have a rooting interest, right? But I can admit when Bob Stoops owns my ass. I can admit when Caleb Williams goes to OU and it's like, oh, F, this sucks. Like, I can admit that. So if Trevor Lawrence were a good quarterback, like I could sit here and say, oh God, the Texans are screwed. This sucks. This is hell. He's not that. He's not that. He doesn't suck. He has an elite toughness, but he doesn't suck. But he's not great. Now let's go back and let's get this elite breakdown from Greg Cosell on the Ross Tucker podcast once again.
A couple of weeks ago, I did kind of a deep dive into Trevor Lawrence, and he struggled a bit last year, and I think we have to sort of decrease the expectations for what Lawrence is. Lawrence won the national championship as a freshman, and then he got the moniker a generational.
Hold up. So we got to decrease the expectations for what he is. Okay. Sounds fair. So this goes back to what I originally said. He's not a generational guy. Decrease the expectations. He's a good quarterback. He increases the expectations for the front office to build a squad around him. He's not generational. We know that. You should know that. Keep going, Greg, man. And keep giving me that tape breakdown.
And again, everything I say, as you know, is based on studying film. He's not really at that level talent-wise. He has a good arm, but he's not a power arm guy. His deep balls at times.
Okay, so his arm's average. Okay, I got you. Okay, I mean this is film study from him, man. Like, I'm listening to him. Like, and the thing is this: if you're a Texans fan, I'm going to minimize Greg for a sec. If you're a Texans fan or you're a Texans follower, Andrew Luck in 2018, after they beat the crap out of the Texans in the playoffs, like in the first round, you were sitting there saying, we're screwed. We don't have a chance. I was saying it too. You like Deshaun, but Andrew Luck's a badass. That's a winner. That's a guy who knows how to battle. That's a guy that you're terrified of. It sucks that you're going to have to go toe-to-toe with this guy for a decade, because 9 times out of 10, whenever you're going against this guy and it's win or go home, this guy's a gutsy dude, and this guy's going to battle his ass off. We raise your hand if you agree with that. We knew that. There was a admiration, there was a respect for what Andrew Luck was. We all knew it. We saw the ups, we saw the downs, but we all knew Andrew Luck, when push came to shove, more times than not, he was going to gut it out and get the dub. We all knew it. 100,000 million trillion billion%. We've watched Trevor Lawrence for 3 years. Even when he was at Clemson. You don't fear him like that. Does that mean it's the verdict? Perhaps not. But we don't fear him like that. Let's conclude the scouting report of the unfearable Trevor Lawrence with Greg Cosell.
Lose energy on the back end. when he has to move in the pocket and reset his platform, his arm strength kind of declines. There are times he can drive the ball with velocity, but for the most part, he's really kind of more of a touch and pace thrower.
Pace. Jeez, man.
And I think he showed a tendency last year. And again, he has to work through this to play a little fast from the pocket when he perceived and felt pressure. He just sped up his process, and he's got to get better at that. So, I just don't know if overall talent, he's at the level of the top guys. I think he's a guy that needs a pretty complete offense, a multi-dimensional scheme, and a good defense. I think
he needs a badass offense and he needs a good defense. And that's where you increase the pressure. We'll get the conclusion of Greg Cosell's scouting report, but think about this, man. Like what he's basically saying is that he needs a perfect squad around him. He's talking about him like he's Trent Dilfer, like he's maybe Brock Purdy, like maybe he's a better version of Brock Purdy. Maybe. I don't even know if that might be an insult to Brock Purdy. It's what this dude is, man. There's no Texans fan in the world that is scared that Trevor Lawrence is there. It's insane. Let's conclude that scouting report, Greg. Love you, man.
I think he's at the top tier of kind of the for want of a better word, system quarterback.
He's at the top tier of system quarterbacks. So where Greg Cosell is putting Trevor Lawrence is at the top tier of system quarterbacks. So he's putting up there with Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Tua. That's where he's putting him. Then you have your non-system quarterbacks. You have the Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Joe Burrows, the maybe CJ Strouds. I'm not sitting here acting like CJ Stroud's going to be the end-all be-all. But what I'm saying is you would damn sure rather have him than Trevor Lawrence. And that's not Homer stuff, man. Like that's the kind of stuff that kind of annoys me. Like the Homer stuff really annoys me. I was on the flagship and all that type of stuff. Like that's not that. I was calling out the coach, GM, whoever. It's embarrassing what Trevor Lawrence is. And I saw this. We had a drive-in. Someone saying that Texans fans losing sleep over Trevor Lawrence contract. I ain't losing no sleep over that. I benefit when the Texans do good. I'm actually sleeping better with Trevor Lawrence getting paid. I can promise you that. Let's let Greg Cosell wrap up though his scouting report. So there you go. That's all he had to say about that. Just reset that one more time, my friend. Come on.
Needs a pretty complete offense, a multi-dimensional scheme, and a good defense. I think he needs
everything.
He's at the top tier of kind of the
Jim McMahon,
for want of a better word, system quarterbacks.
All right. He's a system quarterback. That's what he said. I don't think he's far off, man. I mean, and look, I think Trevor Lawrence is tough. I think that he's got some game. I just think it's just kind of average. It's kind of what it is, man. It's kind of what it is. Go into the comments, and I'll go to the questions that were asked. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Locker Room on YouTube. Subscribe, like, right along. This is the pulse, man. Like if you want to know what's going on with the Texans, and by the way, once the season starts, 10 a.m., homie. Like 10 a.m., you're going to catch me. I promise you that. 10 a.m., once the season starts. I'm the ultimate dude when it comes to this Texan stuff. Everyone knows that. But we got that coming at 10 a.m. Whatever form it may or may not be, it's coming through. Pause. Let's see what H-Town's Ultimate has to say. That's a bold claim, my friend. Landry, if this thing's going well for us, how much are we going to pay CJ? He's going to be the highest paid quarterback of all time. It's going to be a matter of how he lays it out or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I know he's like talking to Tom Brady a lot, but yeah, he's going to be, if he keeps going this way, he's going to be the highest quarterback of all time. It's going to be like 60 mil a year, and he's going to have a super extension, and then you're going to have to revisit it, but might be restructured, but that's what it's going to do. And it's going to be harder, man. It's going to be a lot harder to figure out what you want to do as a squad and what you want to do as an organization once that happens. So yeah, that's where we're headed. Appreciate the question, my friend. BH says Eric Armstead ran to the Jags because he wanted more money. I don't know about that. The Texans tried to trade for him, which was kind of like a weird plan A, B, C, because if you listen to Armstead and you kind of listen to the reports, Texans tried to trade for him. Texans tried to trade for Keenan Allen. Texans eventually made like the three-way trade for Stefon Diggs. Maybe he ran for more money. I don't know, but once he hit the market, I would say yeah. But yeah, he went there, and I could easily see the Jags winning the division. I just don't think their ceiling is really high. Appreciate the question, Brandon. TTPT, I bet anyone CJ actually might make less given his character, blah, blah, blah. So you're asking like CJ to take less money. So you think that's a character thing? You think it's like a character thing for an athlete to take less money? I don't know if it's a character thing or anything like that. I mean, it's just sometimes you want to put a better squad around you. I would say this, like, don't hold CJ to a standard to where if he does or doesn't take less money, that's an indictment or lack thereof with his character. That's what I would say. I don't know if that's the case. Regardless, once he gets paid, whatever he gets paid, it's going to be more difficult to build a squad around him. TTMT again, I wouldn't pay Dak or Trevor or Baker. I mean, the Cowboys aren't paying Dak. They're kind of rolling that out. They already did, but they're rolling it out now. EC, shout out to Eric C. Dak definitely has more overall success, so it'll be interesting to them. Dak's better than Trevor Lawrence. Like, are we comparing those two? It's not even close. Dak's 100 times better than Trevor Lawrence. Way better. BH, Jags got longer terms on Lawrence, Josh Allen, Armstead, no CBS. Heading their way for a while. Okay. Whatever you say. PT, who can benefit from this more, Jags or Texans? Look, I think the Texans benefit because it gets more difficult for the Jags to build the team, whether Trevor Lawrence is the lead or not. The Texans benefit. Now, maybe the Jags build a good team around Lawrence, but in this situation with the contract, the Texans definitely benefit from that. So Raj, he's not worth 55, but someone would have definitely paid him if Jacksonville didn't. Look, he wasn't gonna hit the market, dude. Like, what are you saying? Like, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like Trevor Lawrence was going to hit the market. And look, if I'm the Giants or if I'm the Raiders or something like that, I'm paying Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I'm just talking about this from a localized perspective, and that's all. That's all I know how to roll with is localized. But like, there's half the teams in the NFL that would love to pay Trevor Lawrence this, and they would be like scratching and clawing to do that. So yeah, it's kind of a hard situation, man. It's like the Derek Carr situation where like the Raiders made Derek Carr the highest paid quarterback in the NFL or whatever, and then Garoppolo was the highest paid. So that happened. But yeah, and I mean, and then you get the counter like what you say is he's not worth. I mean, he might be worth. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, like I get what you're saying. Someone would have and someone should have, quite honestly. Sam says, when are we going to get daily live in person Landry Stute show? Soon. So me and Stutes have established ourselves as the digital kings, the Texans digital kings for sure. Like the Houston Texans digital kings, that's us. He is I, and I is him, and we are them. We actually met this weekend, and there's going to be like a lot of opportunities and a lot of good things for Houston Texans fans and etc. with us collaborating. So we'll definitely make that happen. Mike M. He's got a 2-piece combo, man. This better be a good 2-piece combo. What's your 2-piece combo? Put it in there. If you go to a chicken spot and they ask you for 2 pieces, what you going with? You gotta go leg and breast, right? You gotta go leg and breast. But he's got a 2-piece combo. I might go 2 legs, man. I know that's kind of soft and I'm not getting as much, but I might go 2 legs. That's just kind of me with the Popeye stuff. When will you let us know what you will be doing job wise for the season since no more 610? Dude, I've been doing this for over a year and a half. So there's no like job wise type of thing. I don't have any idea. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, so I'm fine, man. And I'm good with all those fools. Shout out to all of them, man. Been talking to a lot of them, man. So it's not it's not like I'm like keeping some stuff a secret. I'm straight, man. I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I'll let you know. But the bottom line is, you know where to come to see me, and that was the case when I was at 16. It's not like I started some sort of, and this would have been pathetic if I would have sat there and said, "Hey, I'm starting a YouTube channel after I get fired from 610, blah, blah, blah." That would be pathetic. That'd be pitiful and embarrassing. Brother, I've been doing this the whole time, man. Whether I have pregnant wife, blah, 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 like that stuff kind of like has been going the same way. Wedding, all that, like I've done 1,000 videos in like 18 days or 18 months. So ain't got to worry about that, my friend. I'm on it. 100,000% on it. So you'll be here and I'll be somewhere, I promise you. And I'll get someone who actually like I'll move on from that. Glenn Tompkins says, my dad pole vaulted for UT. He turned 100 this year. Damn, man. 100, man. That's crazy. That's nuts. He turned 100 this year, pole vaulted in the Senior Olympics. into his mid-80s. That's insane, brother. Like, I can't even imagine that. That's nuts. Didn't Andrew Luck have the same result when it was all said and done? I don't think you can compare him to Trevor Lawrence. That's kind of weird. Who's better, Trevor Lawrence or David Carr? Trevor Lawrence. I mean, what were we saying? Be a hater now. Kind of like Anthony Richardson did last year. Don't know about that. Marcus says, sounds like game manager to me. Then going back to the comments, let's see what we got here. Is CJ a system quarterback? No, man. I mean, I don't think so. I will say that we're very high on him. Should we be like more cautious? I don't think so, but I mean, is CJ? I mean, he's only been in a Bobby Slowick offense. He's only been in like a this type of West Coast. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think he's a system QB, but I've never seen him without it. You know, I've never seen him without it. So that's crazy. I mean, like, I don't think he's a system QB. I do think it's kind of. Is he getting a lot of praise? Yeah. Is he getting a lot of love? Yeah. Could it come tumbling down? Perhaps. Is the floor going to be that bad? I don't think so. But yeah, I think that's something to keep an eye on. DE Trevor Lawrence is overrated. Hasn't really lived up to the number one pick. Yeah, I mean, that's there's kind of a lot of ways to look at this, and this is where I kind of want to be fair to Trevor Lawrence. That I think Trevor Lawrence is tough as hell, and I think Trevor Lawrence is a badass. But like as far as toughness, but is he what people hyped him up to be? Definitely not. Like that's not. But it was off. It was obviously a high bar. Whew. Damn, essay. ESSAY. When Trevor Lawrence got drafted, I said to myself, thank goodness gracious. They need the help they can get after Blake Bortles and Chad Henne. Still top tier. You didn't say thank goodness, brother, if you actually worried about that. Stutes and Locker and Texans Cap. Y'all think Texans Cap's good at talking? I don't know about that. That's a lot, my friend. Glenn says, I worked off Gessner and ate that Gallo Mexican place you liked. It was weekly stopped. Moved to San Antonio in the 90s and worked down the street, Blanco Cafe, John's favorite. You're talking about the restaurant that John recommended, Blanco Cafe. Yeah, it was a good spot. Like back when he was authentic. I mean, yeah, that was a good place. Blanco, I liked it. For sure. Ogaya goes in, sir. When does Steven Nelson join you? Man, I might need to figure that out. How'd you win a PS5 with Studs? Never done that. Can we get Eric Murray on the show? Perhaps, honestly, perhaps. Might happen. And shout out to Randall Cobb for his BS. We'll talk about that soon. Appreciate everyone for coming through. I've been having a good time. I'm a team player, man. So whatever y'all got, dude, like everyone, like anyone who's ever worked with me, they all know this, man. Like 100%. I'm a team player. Like I'm 100% a team player. So don't let anyone tell you different. If anyone tells you different, they're lying to themselves. Appreciate you for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Yes, sir. Holla at me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize. Every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop.